Always remember.
All right, we are here at day 2 of Rebel Scum Con with Ezra Bridger, Taylor Gray. Dude, how's the con going for you?
It's been great. Last night we had I don't know if that was like a welcome event of what it was, but so many more people than I expected, and it's been a blast.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, it has been about a little over 10 years since Rebels came out. I mean, since it first debuted.
That's
which is
crazy.
Crazy to
10 years is a long time.
And of course, you're working with Vanessa Marshall and all of them for going back and revisiting Rebels on the podcast. What does just like that legacy feel like this kind of far out, you know, and the impact that it's had, especially for you being kind of the central character?
That's a good question. It's so interesting because when you start it, your face is so close to it, and you have no perspective, and I didn't know enough of the world, and then you get to come to events because as an actor you're just in a booth. At least when you're on a set there's 100 people on set. There's 7 people there, and you're like, I hope someone watches it. And then you come to an event, you're like, okay, I think people are watching it. And then now you're 10 years on, you're like, oh wow, it's tattooed on people. There are lines that people are like, this is my favorite line that I've ever heard on a TV show, that people really, it's connected to parts of their lives, and it's gotten people through parts of their lives, and it's really special. And now being able to look back at it, I'm enjoying watching the show and seeing what we were doing at the time that I don't know if I was as aware of.
That's awesome. I mean, Star Wars animation has blossomed so far, and Rebels, I think, was Clone Wars was experimental, but I would argue that Rebels was even more so because it was encapsulating that like Macquarie art style. It was going to Disney and stuff like that. And when you see throughout these years, when you've seen like a young kid dressed up as Ezra, like what is that feeling like? Dude,
it's such a trip. As you would think, it still doesn't really make sense. The more you see it, the more like numbed you are to it, but you're not, because you're like, I mean, someone cares enough about this to take on that persona, and that's kind of what we're doing as well. Like every time we'd go into the booth, the way my training was like, you step into this character, and that's what people are doing, and they're roaming around. And I used to do it with my little brother all the time, and we'd be Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid with little revolvers, and like, I love it, and it's so special, and I never want to like forget how fun that is.
Okay, so you specifically in the show have gotten to wield 2 separate lightsabers. Now a lot of people get to switch up into
saber.
The Glock saber, which is a fan favorite. If you had to choose between the V1 and the V2, do you have a preference of if you got to walk around with a lightsaber today, which you would use?
I'm 100% putting a blaster on my saber. I still I'll text Dave that, just be like, don't forget what the coolest lightsaber is, and he's always like that. He said he had so much fun designing that lightsaber, and my logic is always naive when it comes to Star Wars. So I'm always like, why don't more people have blasters on their lightsaber? Han Solo's rocking around with a blaster. Why not have it in your saber?
It's the best of both worlds.
It's truly encapsulating of the mind of Ezra.
I was gonna say it is Ezra too.
Yeah, exactly. Like people are like, certain people kind of complain about it, and I'm like, no, I love it. Like it's such an Ezra design.
It doesn't make sense, but it does.
He had to be nerfed.
It is just also slightly chaotic, just like Ezra, which is honestly the best part of it. With that saber, when they told you that is what your lightsaber would look like, how was that process of like, it's going to be one of the first of its kind?
I was stoked. First question, I was like, this was my breadth of knowledge. I was like, does anyone else have a blast on saber? He's like, no, but there was something in a story, I guess he had said, that was influential of it, but I was like, okay, now we're rocking and rolling. And then Lucasfilm would send us all the figures, everything. So I had a few of those show up. I was living in an apartment with a buddy in LA at the time. I got that thing, and he hated me because I was shooting that thing everywhere. Like, I'm going to use it. And those things would get lost under the couch, everything.
It's not for nothing, dude.
Exactly.
That's so much fun.
They're very fun.
There's a couple of like VR video games and stuff, and there's like a really dedicated fan group that makes this one like VR sword game, and they have all the lightsabers. And yours is the best one to play with because it's just straight up John Wick.
Of course, dude. Dude. That's what I'm saying. I always loved when I would watch those type of movies and films when I was young. Whatever would be the most fun to be or play with, and so I don't know. It makes sense to me.
It's like Kanan and you both. I mean, he gets the detachment. So it's a good combo.
That scene when it comes out and it goes, and everybody's kind of looking at it like, what is this thing? Is such a fun part of that show, and it honestly builds to the entire legacy of the show.
And I hear people online call it a staple gun too, Glock gun, the Glock saber, the staple gun. I love it all.
Obviously, we have a wonderful live-action version of Ezra, which I believe you have met him on a couple of times.
Yeah.
I think we saw a video of you a while back tearing up a dance floor, the two of you.
I love the boogie, and so does he. I mean, that's Ezra. It makes sense. He's perfect.
What is it like for you, especially with that recent season 2 still, of like, I mean, it looks like...
It looks amazing. I mean, you couldn't have a more perfect match to it. It's great.
Yeah.
And I love that everyone is like cared enough about the character and that he's brought everything that he cares for in the Star Wars world and the passion for it, that fans are just like, it's growing and growing and growing, and I love it. I mean, I love Ezra so much that you only want sort of the best for him.
Yeah. It was a beautiful like passing of the torch, and I mean, it's like, I was like, oh my gosh, he sounds so close to Taylor, and I was like, it's like literally one of the most crazy bridges between you and him. So
I love that.
Yeah, it's an awesome foundation.
You are the Alec Guinness to his Ewan McGregor. And
I love it. There it is.
Very cool. Speaking of 2 other characters, you got to meet as Ezra a ton of other just gigantic pillar characters in the Star Wars galaxy throughout that show. For you, if you had to go back as Ezra and spend a scene with any other character in Star Wars, you're like, oh, Ezra gets to be on screen with this person. Not even just the time period where he's around. At any point in Star Wars, who would that be?
I was going to say easy, and it was going to be something already. You know what? My favorite character in all of Star Wars is Han Solo.
Let's go, dude.
Yeah.
Easily. But Darth Vader does something for me as like, I had seen a couple of the movies. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know it all. And I know that Vader is the biggest villain in all of cinema.
Yep.
And hearing his voice when I watched the show in Rebels, I get goosebumps. I was like, oh, whoa, he's like with Vader. I didn't put that together until I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And it's James Earl Jones. And there's like such a gravity to it that it would be a real toss-up. Han Solo, it would just be fun, and that is my speed. But Vader is just so cool. I didn't realize he becomes a pretty formidable Jedi. When you think about we know how strong this person is, he's encountered both of them and how the interactions have gone. I mean, he's up there.
Yeah. I mean, and without...
By the end of it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I mean, even by when Ezra's like 17, 18, like without his direct actions, with Kanan's actions and then Ezra's actions, like the entire galaxy would have been completely different if Thrawn was still in it. So
right? It seems that way.
It changes the whole...
Very pinnacle to the entire galaxy.
Yeah.
We don't want to hold you too much longer. However, we do have one more question. It's a question we ask everybody.
I'll do it.
Sorry. Yeah, exactly. When? The question is, why do you love Star Wars?
Oh man, that's an amazing question, and I'm surprised more people don't ask that. I ask people when they come up to the table often, and for me, what I think is so beautiful is it's very human stories, but it's not. It's behind the guise of I love Lord of the Rings, right?
Yeah.
And I love what it is saying while it's not like watching someone in your backyard. You know what I mean? It's other faces and other places and a galaxy far, far away. Yeah. And Star Wars is so cool in its inclusivity of everything. At the same time, it is very grounded and it's just us.
Yeah.
And that's why I particularly love, like my favorite Star Wars movie is A New Hope.
Yeah.
And I could sit in the Falcon, I could sit watching as the camera in the Falcon with them just bantering and being that family. And it's something tying it all the way back to Rebels that I love so much is these characters being together and going through very human things.
Yeah.
like someone walking by and farting.
I can't wait to put in the caption, that was Ziona walking by in the back.
That is Nelson and I did a movie together 5 years ago, and we did not see each other. A live action movie called The Wheel that Steve Pink directed, who directed like Hot Tub Time Machine and stuff.
Yeah.
And we worked together, and I saw him, and I went to his birthday like 4 years ago. He's my dude, but I haven't seen him in a while.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
But I love that it is like a family going through life. Like with Ezra, I feel like I learned so much about being a man. Like, what kind of man do I want to become? There's the easy way, there's the hard way, there's the way to lie and cheat, there's the way to just be a good person and selfless, and we're all dealing with that. And I think Star Wars does a great job of bringing so many people together.
Yeah,
Dude.
I think Rebels especially encapsulates family, and that's at the core essence of Star Wars, right? That story is about
Absolutely.
family. Rebels is another pocket of that, and it's why it is my favorite show. So on behalf of both of us, thank you for your contribution.
Thank
to Star
you, guys.
Wars,
Thank you.
and thank you for doing this.
Great.
I love it.
I also lied. I have one last question for you.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite Ezra alias? He's got a lot of different names.
Okay, this
We
is
need to
gonna,
set the
this is
record
gonna,
straight.
I always Jabba the Hutt
Yeah.
is always the best,
Yes.
and I always go with that. And I know Jabba, but my answer is gonna be Brom Titus because I don't know who Brom Titus is. So it's even better. Like Dave is always dying because we would be saying names. I would just improv other names that I had heard in Star Wars. He was like, "We know you don't know, so say stuff." So I was saying just like any name. I was like Wedge Antilles, and he's like, "You can't say that one." And he like going through it. I have no idea who Brom Titus is.
That's so awesome.
I'm like, I
He's the
love that
most-
alias.
He's the most like forgettable Imperial of all time.
Okay.
He's like pasty white and like this blonde 70s haircut.
Okay.
And I think he's like only in the first 2 seasons, and I think
Yeah.
he blows up or something.
Yeah.
Got
So
you.
there you go.
That is a
Perfect. That's
fantastic
my
answer.
favorite one.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Thank you so much
Yes,
for
thank
doing
you so
this.
much for your time,
Absolutely.
dude.
Thank
Yes,
you, man.
Of course.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
dude. Yeah.
Absolutely.